Hello and welcome to Inches and Cubes, your Toronto-based Warhammer 40k podcast. As always, it's me, Point and Click Nick.
Me, Paul, Mr. Fist Fowler.
And me, Space Wolf Nick.
There we go.
And that's Space Wolf Nick opening us up a... Oh, what did you bring us?
This is Kona Brewing Big Wave Golden Ale. So, my partner and I were in Hawaii like a while ago, and she had memories of this, so she actually bought a bunch of these today.
Yeah, this is delicious beer.
Yeah, nice, easy drinking.
This is the sort of beer that, like, you can cruise through 4 or 5 of while eating tacos.
Yeah.
That's a
good description.
Yep. Well, they don't make tacos in Hawaii, but, I mean, they eat them there, I'm sure. Tacos are delicious. They travel.
They do.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they make them there and then you eat them. They come pre-assembled. But anyways, cooking aside, welcome to episode 27. Today we are getting fact.
Yeah.
Talking about the big FAQ that was just released.
Yeah. There's no bottle copy. I love these guys.
Yeah, there totally is. I got it.
What?
Year-round, the waves that roll onto Hawaiian beaches are some of the best in the world. Catch the crest of a breaking wave and ride it all the way in. Our sun-drenched Big Wave Golden Ale is a smooth brew inspired by what makes Hawaii great. Catch a wave!
Yeah.
How many A's is it? It only has one A. You read it wrong. Catch a wave. We're talking about the FAQ. Came out a little while ago.
Last week.
We're
actually on top of things.
Still in September, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Point.
Yeah, they just squeaked it in.
I haven't seen a single Orc release, so
Yeah, well.
I'm not holding out on October.
October might be Orco-ween.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Orcember?
Trucktober?
Something like that. We also have
Toyotathon?
We also have 2 other specialist guests on the podcast today. There's one behind Nick over there. It's a kitten. And there's another kitten running around here somewhere, too.
Yeah, anyways.
Hershey and Lily. Apparently they're terrible names.
They are terrible names. Those are stupid friggin' names for cats.
Harsh.
Yeah.
Very harsh.
I mean...
Your name's Paul.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it.
That's fair.
It's a stupid name for a cat.
It is. Actually, that's a great name for a cat.
Yeah, it is.
A friend of mine, she has a cat named Brian and wants to get a cat named Karen. Mm-hmm. And I just love the idea of 2 cats named Brian and Karen. Because they're just people names. Mm-hmm. That's the joke. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, hobby desk. What's on your hobby desk, Nick?
What's on my hobby desk? Well, you can take a look over there. I've been plugging away at those obliterators. Got the gold down. Nice. Just need to put some silver highlights on it. Highlights on the purple. Still don't know what I'm going to do with the guns yet. Feel like they should pop and look different, but I'm not sure how to make that happen. Mm-hmm. And then got to base them, but they'll be done in time for the Sword and Board Open, which is the next big event that we're running.
Are you going to, you playing in that?
Yeah.
Nice.
Who's running it?
Nick and Mike.
Yeah.
All right, then.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
Proud of you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Are you playing in it?
Yeah, probably.
Nice. Yeah. Buy that ticket. And then I also just put down coat of spray paint on my D&D mini for our campaign.
Yeah.
That'd be Nick and I's campaign with the other Nick. There's 3 Nicks.
All the Nicks.
All the Nicks. Not all the Nicks. There's a couple others that don't play D&D. Well, they just not in our group.
Should get them in.
Yeah, man. There's lots of other Nicks.
The League of Nicks.
I feel like we have enumerated the amount of Nicks many times.
That's true.
How did you find using that tentacle maker to tentacle up your...
So it was super easy. So I actually got gray stuff.
Okay.
I used gray stuff instead of green stuff. And
what did you find?
it was just super simple. I don't know if green stuff would have been easier or better, but the gray stuff from Gale Force 9 was just easy to work with. Just kept a bowl of water, and as I was forming it, just put water on my hands, rolled it out flat further with like 2 CD jewel cases, because those are actually useful. Still.
What? You have those still?
Yeah. I had a couple lying around that I used.
What CDs?
Godsmack. 100% it's Godsmack.
I'm not sure. Oh no, I did that at Connor's. I don't know if I have CDs here.
His was probably like Old Crows and Young Cardinals or something like that.
It was definitely something punk. But yeah, no, it worked really well. Like I said to you earlier, the biggest problem was like getting the right girth on the cables, because sometimes they would come out too thick and it just didn't look natural. So I just had to start off and get them nice and smooth. But yeah, the gray stuff, like once I had it formed, I was able to basically, so I countersunk the tentacle in, was able to just dab a super glue, push it in, and then it was very easy to manipulate it without it breaking.
Yeah, that is nice. Green stuff. Well, I don't know about gray stuff, but yeah, it sticks really nicely to super glue, and then you've got a good solid bond, and it's still flexible for at least 30 minutes.
Yeah, and now it's super super tight. Like one of the speakers mounted on the shoulder has a tube going from the back of the speaker all the way down to the lower back of one of the obliterators. And just playing around with it and painting it, I accidentally bumped into it and it broke off. And it like sprang up.
Whoa.
And it was like, there was like tension in the actual wire. And I was able to just glue it back down and it was fine. Huh. I was very surprised by that.
I wonder if green stuff would do that.
I don't know.
Probably. Because if it's rolled out flat, you're forming it into a long, thin strip, and then you're bending that strip so everything's aligned.
Probably. Yeah, there's probably some compression.
Yeah, definitely. And then I think especially with the grooves,
yeah,
they definitely make that happen as well. And then I've got to get 10 Cacophony and a Master of Signal painted for a 40K event in November. So I got a bunch of stuff on the hobby desk I need to get done.
Yeah, man.
You're still going at your Emperor's Children?
Oh, I've had 10 Cacophony for a long time. I've just never bothered to paint them because I never have a reason to run 30 of them in a game, but this is a 4,000 point event. And I need every model on the table that I can possibly get. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. The guys in Kitchener-Waterloo put on a good event, and it'll be awesome.
Yeah, they're a hoot.
Yeah.
Nice.
How about you, Paul? What are you working on?
I dug out my Hellblasters again that were spray painted, and I noticed that the finish on them was a little bit rough, so I dunked all those in, just like I sprayed them. And
you get those problems with the aggressors too, right?
Yeah, so I had to strip those down, and I primed them at the same time, so I just plunked those in a strip just to repaint those. And I'm working on a thing for Marco. Did I mention the Custodes jet bike that I was working on last time?
No, I saw it on your Instagram.
So Marco sent me a Custodes jet bike, the Forge World one, to do as a shield captain. So that's been all assembled. I forgot how much I love working with resin. It's just so much fun to mess around with.
Are you being serious or
yeah,
sarcastic?
I'm not too sure.
No,
I'm not catching it.
No, I really like resin.
Oh, okay, interesting, sure.
So
Why?
I don't know. It's nice and soft and
Converting it, type of
No,
doing
just
cuts into it.
just building a resin model. I just like that you can kind of really get a nice wiggly, or you can make a wiggly fit tight. You can just kind of build it as well as you want to. But yeah, so I've magnetized the lance arm because otherwise it's a nightmare to transport.
Oh yeah.
And I think that they're making the lance out of a different resin than the rest of the kit. Huh. It seems a little bit bendier. It doesn't...
More forgiving?
Yeah. So that still needs to get straightened out. I haven't primed that. But the whole thing's been built and primed and mounted on corks as I will need to paint it. And I'm going to do, instead of a big flat panel and doing it red like the box art, I'm going to try and teach myself, before I do it on the model, how to do marble.
Whoa.
So, yeah. So,
what do you think? Which technique are you going to go with? Because I've seen a couple.
It's just the Lemaine medium.
Yeah.
Kind of getting everything really thin and just doing streaks. And then kind of going in and doing the little lightning bolts of dark, and then progressively getting lighter around that.
Yeah.
That's the way that I'm going to do it. And then you hit the whole thing with either a gloss with a little bit of pigment mixed in, or LeMay medium again with a little tiny bit of pigment to get it like kind of like tint it one last time before you seal it up.
Nice.
Should be able to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'll send you the link to the tutorial I found because there was no way I was going to be able to figure that out on my own. That's all primed up, and I built a really nice scenic base for it out of a piece that you actually gave me. Nick had Horace's base kicking around because he loves to
just had an extra one.
Oh, wow, okay. That's an amazing base. Like the marble staircase, yeah.
So I'm just using the eagle head because it's like a little, it's the oval base.
Nice.
So I'm doing that, and I just like had to fill in the gap with brown stuff. So the milliput that's meant for terracotta. And just kind of
brown stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, sure.
What are you gonna do for that base? What's your plan?
So the eagle kind of comes up, and then there's rubble at the bottom of it, so it makes a little valley. I'm going to sink the post there for the flying base, and then do a ball and socket magnet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then, nothing else, like, there's not much more that I can do besides that, like, big eagle head and chunk of resin shale. So I just put a little gravel, painted up a couple of tufts of grass and one little flower somewhere. And
I like that you're on the flower train.
oh, man. Love that flower power.
Just adds like a pop of color, right?
It does. It's just like real life.
Yeah.
And then, what else? The Hellblasters. And the Wild West guys. I just keep on plugging at.
Nice. You got a new mini for our D&D campaign?
I do. I have a Barbarian.
Nice.
Yeah. He's got an axe, though. He's supposed to have a sword and a shield.
I'm sure you can find a fantasy sword somewhere around.
It's just the scale's so janky, and anything that like looks cool, you like go to order, and it's like, holy smokes, that's $60 for like 2 guys.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing it, Nick.
They're nice.
They're really nice.
They're nice.
But I mean, with Connor DVSD as your DM, like, you're just gonna go through dudes.
Yeah, might as well throw it out the next day.
Yeah.
My guy's doing fine.
It's because you don't do anything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and also, who rescued you 3 times last time?
You did.
Me.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm the heart of the party.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Love being a bard.
The weak heart of the party.
Funniest character ever. Oh, man. Love it.
Yeah, so anyways, that's what I've been working on.
Nice.
How about you?
Not a lot recently. It's been like a busy past little while, but I am getting back into my kill team, my Deathwatch, the bubble-headed like Valkyrie Deathwatch that I made back for our event in May.
Loved it.
So I've a bunch of them have magnetized arms, so which is good because I wanted to add a couple things for our kill team league that we have going on right now. So yeah, right now I've got like a heavy thunderhammer and a couple power swords and a couple storm shields that I've magnetized up. Just kind of going through. I just airbrushed them, did some like weathering and some markings on them. They've currently got gloss varnish on them. I'm going to give them an oil wash.
Nice.
Probably in a couple days, and then seal them up, and yeah, they'll be good to go. Yeah, but not much else recently. I'm kind of on the kill team train right now. I ordered a bunch of like Eldar bits because I think I want to branch out from this Space Marine rut that I'm in and try something else.
Ooh, an Eldar kill team.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing Gene Stealer Cult.
Yeah. I don't think the kill team looks that good after playing my Deathwatch kill team and seeing how much damage I can do with really strong weapons. Just a bunch of like Eldar shooting their little shuriken pistols or cannons or whatever they are. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's as effective.
I don't know. I honestly, kill team's interesting. Anything else? Yes. Well, we can move into games played. So we're going to do an entire episode of Kill Team, but the only games I've played is Kill Team.
Yeah, me too.
Hold on, let me go first.
Okay.
I didn't play anything.
Yeah. That's yeah. Well, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, I've played a lot of Kill Team lately. We've got the league going on. I was able to squeeze a couple games in there. We had the open day for Kill Team, which only 4 people came to, which was good. But played a new person there, which was a lot of fun. I really dig it. It's fun. You can get like 2 games in under like an hour and a half. It's super tactical. You got to think about your choices. You got to think about what your enemy's going to do, because I really like the I move, you move and then we start shooting back and forth
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah, the going second is good sometimes, and going first is good sometimes. It totally just depends. It's a really interesting. I don't know. Yeah, just a different way of kind of looking at that strategy.
Yeah, no, it very much so is. And it just, I find that the guys have so much more character, and they do what they're supposed to do, and don't just die in droves. Like I'm playing orcs, and just being able to really catch people off guard with like high volume of shooting and being very fast and very tough. Because like the orc stratagems revolve around like, oh, you killed me on a 4-up, I come back from the dead with a flesh wound. And people are like, oh! And the guy is just right there ready to just crump somebody in the head.
Yeah.
So it's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited with the way Kill Team's been recently too. I mean, it's a tight rule set. A couple things that doesn't quite make sense from like a narrative point of view, but generally,
Nobody was going to say it.
ludonarrative dissonance.
Oh yes,
It's coming. It's coming later on. Don't worry. No, I think it's a lot of fun. It's a really tight rule set. GW has done a pretty good job with what they kind of came out with it.
Well, it's almost like they want us to have fun.
Well,
I love it.
there's so much weird, like the new Commander stuff that's coming out for it.
It's so quick. The pace at which they're releasing these things is breakneck.
See the Commander stuff?
No, man.
I'm not a big fan of the Commander, just because I feel like a full-on HQ unit from the 40k universe shouldn't be in Kill Team.
Well, it's not in all games, right? I mean, you're
Yeah.
supposed to like have them only in a couple special games, but you get like, well, for Marines, you get basically Primaris, Captain, Librarian, Chaplain, and I thought there was one other. But
Lieutenant.
Probably
Yeah,
Lieutenant.
there's Lieutenant in there as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Just being like, oh, I don't think this guy would be here. For a bunch of suicidal mooks. But we'll see how it plays out. I'm interested to see how
But you just have to fluff it differently. Like, their lander crashed and they're surrounded by mooks. Or the mooks found out where he was and they're trying to assassinate him.
Yeah.
There you go. Two great...
Yeah. It'll be interesting. Although I did find out something that kind of worried me, but then I realized I can just get the rules for free online. So all the new fire teams that are coming out have new stratagems in them. Mm-hmm. So like I went up against Dustin and his Imperial Guard. He's like, I have these 6 new stratagems, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And they're really good stratagems too.
Yeah. No, I
Guard with good stratagems? I won't believe it.
Yeah, I noticed the same thing. I found them online, and it's just it kind of sucks, right? I mean, it is a pay to win kind of way. It'd be nice if they could offer those in a different regard, but
yeah, that's games played. I'm gonna play a game of 40k tomorrow for the first time in a long time,
Nice.
which I'm psyched for. Trying out my.
Are you playing a Swordborn?
No, I'm playing it over at Phil's. Just trying out my 1750 list for Chaos for the Sword and Board Fall Open.
Nice.
Which by the time you hear this podcast will probably be sold out. But if it's not, hop on over to the Facebook page and come on down.
Yeah.
What about you, Nick? What you been playing?
I played a couple games of Kill Team with Victor this past weekend. It was my first couple games, and Victor was a great teacher to kind of walk me through them. Played one in the kind of standard. I don't know. I think we were using the Necromunda terrain that Adam and the club kind of built up. So there was some shooting and there was some platforms and whatnot, and it was my Death Watch versus his Gene Stealers. So I basically wiped the floor with him for my first game. That was really nice. But then the tables reversed because we played our actual league game in a small temple using the Zone Mortalis kind of walls and doors, which was an amazing kind of setup to play in. But absolutely terrible when he's got a melee heavy army, and I think I even toned down. I went a little bit more melee, but he just the opposite, wiped the floor with me, and it was a lot of fun though. Both of those games were really cool. It's interesting how long single units can survive for, single models can survive for. Sometimes you think that they might die, and sometimes they do really quickly, but in general, you can have fights going on for a lot longer than you think.
Flesh wounds are hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm really glad one of the things in the big FAQ, not the big FAQ, but the FAQ that came out for Kill Team changed how flesh wounds happen.
Which part?
So every time you roll a flesh wound, if you already have a flesh wound, it's +1 to the injury roll.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first time playing, I'm like, this guy has 3 flesh wounds on him, and he ain't going down anytime soon. He's just hitting people with a hammer. But now, as you get wounded, it's more easy for you to just get taken into action.
That makes sense.
But it is sometimes funny when you're like, oh, a 3. Oh, a 2, a 1, I'm okay. And you just punch somebody in the face and they die.
Yeah, it's a good game. I'm excited that GW is supporting it the way that they're.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do a full episode on it because it's a very different game. It's a very different game, but
Cool.
I quite like it. But yeah, why don't we take a break, play with some kittens, get some more beer, and come back after this musical break.
Okay.
G'day. How are you now? Tried to paint a mini the other day. Realized my brushes were drier than a Saskatoon field in May. So I did what any reasonable man in his mid-30s would do, and I hopped over to thewarpainter.com to resupply. Thewarpainter.com is Canada's greatest hobby store for all things hard to find. Scale 75, Broken Toad, The Army Painter, and Valet Ho. All supporters of Encounter Wargaming get 10% off their first order with the code EWG10. They got you covered.
We're back.
We are back.
We're creaky.
Yep.
Those are our bones, not the chairs.
I'm old. I've been around for a long time.
Nick, why don't you pour us another Kona
You got it.
Big Wave Golden Ale? Same beer.
Same beer.
We're not going to read the proof again.
Still good.
We got different beers coming, don't worry.
Do we?
People are worried.
I mean, are they?
I'm not worried.
I feel like they're worried about our drinking in general, not exactly what we're drinking.
Well, it is funny because like people who haven't seen the Twitch feed, like one person said to me, like, "You guys like get so drunk on your podcast." I'm like, we have 2 beers each.
Mm-hmm.
We just drink out of tiny.
There
little
have been a
glasses.
couple of times where like we have had way more than 2 beers each, though.
I would.
Yeah, towards the beginning, yes.
I would very much like to be on a future podcast where instead of beers we just do whiskey
Sure.
the whole night.
Yep.
I'm okay. You guys can do that.
All right, that sounds good. If you
Yeah.
need to host, just let me know.
Yeah. I'm down. I love me some brown liquor.
So we're talking about the big FAQ, the September FAQ.
Just barely.
Yeah, but they did it.
I mean, 29 out of 30 ain't bad.
Yeah, but in this case, it would be 2 out of 30.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
You don't-
it was released in September. It didn't say early September FAQ or start of September FAQ. It was the September FAQ.
Were you feeling the anticipation? Were you a little antsy? Did you feel a little, like, maybe it's out today?
If something said it was going to arrive on Wednesday and you got it at 10:30 that evening, you'd be like, I waited all day.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
Usually depends on how good it is, if it's worth it or not.
But
Was this worth the wait?
I don't know. Let's listen and find out.
we got some interesting stuff. And we're going to talk about it.
Tell me all about it, Nick.
So first up, we have finalized match play rules. So we're familiar with these ones. I don't think they've actually changed at all. But essentially, the Battle Brothers rule is now finalized match play rule, which again is completely optional. All these rules are completely optional. You can do whatever you want in your own events.
I mean, everything's completely optional. Like, let's not get weird.
But all the units in your detachments must have at least one faction keyword in common that is not Chaos Imperium, Eldar, Yunari, or Tyranids.
So the original soup restriction.
Yes, which is back. And then the 2 match play rules confirmed from the spring are in, which is Psychic Focus, which is +1 to smite rolls as each time you try to attempt it, unless it's the
The Grey Knight one?
yes,
Yeah.
or the Thousand Suns one.
Right.
Yep, that makes sense to me.
Yep, no change.
No change at all. Targeting characters is still in there.
Stupid rule.
Why?
Should be able to block them out.
Yeah, the visible thing. I
Yeah.
know. And then one of the big change, I think, is the change to the tactical reserves. So back in the spring one, we saw them say that a unit can only be deployed from reserve into your own deployment zone on the first turn. And now they've just completely gotten rid of first turn reserves, which I have to say I love.
So we're going back to 7th.
Yeah, a lot of this is return form.
Yeah. There's no randomness to it, which, again, I kind of miss. There doesn't seem to be like a risk and a reward. But I mean, that would take a whole bunch of other game mechanics to put into place.
But I mean, like, I don't know. I enjoyed the first turn stuff while that was here, and like the early days of 8th, that was a lot of fun. But it was also very overpowered.
Yes.
You could do a lot of crazy stuff with that, and it wasn't, if we were thinking about games where you tabled your opponent really quickly, or the game was almost over in turn 1, like, that was a big cause of it sometimes.
But it was also kind of unbalanced for an army that didn't have a lot of reserve options.
Yes.
Right? Because then you kind of had to just sit there and deal with the weak chaff that your opponent puts out while he keeps his really good stuff in reserve, and then turn 1 just comes down and blows you away. Even with the beta tactical reserve rule, and we're playing against Dark Eldar, and their trick is to just keep 3 Ravagers in reserve turn 1, and then let you go first.
Yeah.
And then turn 1, 3 Ravagers drop down and blow away half your army, and you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing I could do to touch that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think this is a pretty good update. Just use the terrain, people. You should have terrain on your table. Use it to screen out your units if you want. If you don't feel like you can, add more terrain.
Yeah.
But I think the part is this in the tactical reserves?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So what GW says about this, I think, is my favorite thing, because I don't think they've said this before, but there's a line where they say, perhaps the biggest criticism we received, though, was that the rules seemed to break many players' suspension of disbelief, as they could not understand the background reasons behind it. What rule was this representing on the battlefield? That's ludonarrative dissonance, and they're basically using that. I don't think they use that to justify this by any means, but they're bringing it up explicitly, saying, hey, this doesn't quite make sense from a gameplay perspective.
Oh, the deployment zone thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. Where you you can bring your guys onto your own deployment zone in first turn.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think it's really funny that GW is bringing it up in this case, because there are many other instances that we've already talked about, including in this fact, where they go against that completely.
Yeah.
So I don't think that, even though they bring that up, that doesn't make any sense. That's not directing their...
Yeah, like that's one of those threads that GW just shouldn't pull at, because eventually they have a lot of yarn and no sweater.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'll go back to my biggest criticism. Shooting through 18 buildings on a table somehow doesn't affect the accuracy of my shot.
Play Kill Team.
Yes, exactly. Which is a lot of fun. But the other thing that the old rule had that was kind of weird was it made you split your units in half by power level.
Yeah.
Now it's by points.
They're really hanging on to that. I mean, I was surprised even when they brought that out. Like, I would be really curious to see the total percentage of 40k players that use power level.
Yeah, it has its place for sure.
narrative games.
Narrative games, but I prefer, and the way it was handled in 40k doesn't make sense. So as someone who's getting into Age of Sigmar, they do points in power level, but when they do power level to upgrade a unit, it's as a whole, right? So for +2 power level, you can upgrade this unit to, instead of having like maces, to have great swords. So you're not picking and choosing. The whole unit has to be upgraded, and you're buying chunks of dudes. So this unit comes with 10 guys.
Yeah, at that
For
point,
another
it's just
5
a different unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in 40k, right, for orcs, for example, 10 orcs is 4 power level. 19 orcs is 4 power level. 20 orcs is 8 power level.
Right. And you can give those orcs whatever you want, and you're not necessarily paying for it in the power level.
Yeah, but my thing is the buying chunks of guys. Right?
Okay.
You should be able to be like, hey, 10 orcs is 4 power level. You can add an additional 10 orcs, only an additional 10 orcs, for an additional 4. Not, you can add 19 and be okay.
Yeah.
Because you can really game power level, which people do, for sure, when it happens. And they don't do it. It's kind of just like, oh, I can do this, so why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I kind of like it for things like kill a unit that has the highest power level.
Right.
Treating it more like that and not something that you're basing your army build off of.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you could just still do that with points, right? Kill a
Right.
unit with the highest points.
True.
Yeah. It should be equivalent, but...
Yeah.
There's totally not.
I know.
So another big change. Actually, let's talk about that rule for a second. Does it affect any of your guys' armies?
So Space Wolves have the On the Hunt stratagem, which I primarily use for my Wolfen to get them up the field turn 2. Hoping I'm going to make that 9-inch charge with a reroll. Some people use that for their long fangs or for shooting units in the back right, kind of like you would use with, I don't know, Ravagers or anything you want to kind of hide just in case. I never did that. It's not affecting me at all.
Yeah. No, like, I never did any turn 1, like, shenanigans. I would maybe keep a unit of Terminators in reserve until I figured out the Terminators were awful.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, compared to the old one, it doesn't really affect the orcs that much. The commandos were fine coming in turn 2 and their opponent's deployment zone, and the way the jump works, it was immune to this, and the way the Deceiver and Necron stuff works, it was immune to this. And then the new army that I'm testing out, this is what I wanted it to do, was to come down turn 2. It's...
Yeah.
I like it. I've always liked, like, turn 1. If you're going to put a chunk of your army in reserve, you're taking the risk that turn 1 you're not going to be put out of position to be effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a fine... It's like a fine change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, like, again, I actually think that what does that represent is a good question here, because, like, what is it? The guys are just instantly ready as opposed to, like, having to get inside their thing, or they're in a different battlefield or a different
They're
arena.
just crawling into the battlefield like they would in second turn in the other deployment zone.
Right.
Yeah, at least for on the hunt or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, scouting out the battlefield, getting ready to enter it.
Yeah.
I mean, I still would like to see some sort of, I guess, exception for drop pods. It'd be nice to see drop pods be used.
I would just like to see drop pods.
Yeah.
In general. But maybe that is the case. That would be kind of interesting. But
I mean, I feel like last going off in 7th edition, they just really shit the bed on drop pods.
They were way too powerful.
Yeah, and this is like the pendulum swinging back again.
Right.
That being said, like, drop pods were whack, and like the fact that Space Marines had like access to so many things that you didn't have to pay for. I mean, we have that still with like stratagems and like some armies being able to get more abilities that they didn't pay for with command points.
Yeah.
But we don't need to get into that here. But I have problems with command points.
Yes.
They're stupid.
Yes, definitely.
Are stratagems stupid?
No. But you should have to pay for command points.
Or we do them like they do in Kill Team.
Perhaps,
where you generate a set number every turn, and you can save them from turn to turn, but it means you don't get to use them in a turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's better.
That's what Sigmar does. And again, it makes a lot more sense. And yeah, because you could generate 2 a turn, and if you have a bigger army, you could start with like 3 or 4.
Right.
As opposed to starting with 12. Or 16, as I did against a Gargard list once, and it was like, what's happening?
Yeah, and that's just free abilities.
It would also change, like, the common wisdom would be use a lot of your command points early in the game so that you can use them on your best units while they're still there. You can get the most efficient. Like, you're basically stacking efficiencies. If you're kind of regenerating them, you're starting with a smaller base but regenerate them, you're using those stratagems throughout the game and perhaps on different units, which is more fun from like a variety point of view, right?
Well, you'd be trying to set up a combo, right? You'd be trying to save up those command points for like turn 3 or 4, keeping certain units alive, not going balls to the wall, and then being boom, 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 boom. There was my battle plan.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
I get to execute my battle plan without getting touched.
Yeah, I'm on board. I like that.
It is getting dangerously close to like War Machine territory. Where I've got a sweet combo that you can't beat.
Yeah, never played War Machine.
Well, it's that.
Fair enough. So some erratas in the big FAQ that I'm not really sure about. Like anything, so Raven Guard, Alpha Legion, Styges 8, Knight Spears and Rangers from Eldar, and then something to do with Incarnate, I don't know.
Yeah.
Basically, their special stratagems changed from being able to basically deploy anywhere on the board to just getting a free 9-inch movement.
Feels bad. Feels real bad.
I don't know. I'm okay with that. It's all in line with the same tactical reserve thing. It's basically lengthening the game. It is going to be tough to get some units across the board for sure.
It changes whole army builds.
But what I don't understand is how can you have something like Space Marine Scouts who are just sure they're cool dudes and they've got some cool tech, but they're not the super elite of the elite the way the Raven Guard and the Alpha Legion are. Why are Scouts better at doing the Raven Guard and Alpha Legion's job than they are at doing their own job? Because you can deploy Scouts anywhere on the board.
Right.
Right?
Well, not Wolf Scouts.
No?
Nope. They get basically the same thing as like on the hunt. They basically get to come in from a board edge behind enemy lines.
I mean, that's still pretty cool.
That's still cool. But yeah, no, like Scouts being able to be like, I'm going to scout this area out and be up ahead of the army, whereas the Alpha Legion guys, that's my shtick, man.
Yeah.
They can't do it now.
That's union work. What are you doing?
I mean, I don't know. I would rather put my aggressors 9 inches closer to my enemy so that they can at least, again, they can get their double shots if they're on Overwatch and they get charged. They can still get their double shots on the first turn. They're still within 18 inches.
Yeah, but it's just like you're taking a set of books, especially when I'm speaking about this, it's Chaos and Space Marines. Taking a set of books and taking one of the things that was like, oh, cool, this is like one of the very few unique things in this book, and you're just saying like, no,
It's still unique. It's not as powerful. It's still unique.
But that's just it. Like a 9-inch movement is great if you're going first.
Well,
There's no benefit to it if you're going. No. If you are using that stratagem going second, it's great because you can literally still put a unit on the other side of the board, out of line of sight. Now that unit just has to be deployed along with the rest of your army.
Does this happen before or after you determine if you go first or second? I thought that this stratagem had to be before you rolled.
No.
Wasn't it?
No, I don't believe so.
I can't remember.
I could be wrong.
I think it's when you are deploying.
It's before the game turn, so perhaps after you've already rolled to determine if you're first or second.
Yeah, we can look that up.
You've already decided to put the guys in reserve before the game started, and then I believe they're deployed right before the first game turn would start. So if you were to go first, you would put them right on the line and hope someone doesn't steal the initiative on you.
I mean, it's still useful, yes. Like, I'm not saying that they just junked it.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're taking something that felt very unique and just making it a free move.
Mm-hmm.
Which can be, 9 inches isn't bad, and that's pretty fast for, some of the things that you might be doing this with.
Yeah.
But, you're killing whole builds.
Yeah, so it's before the first battle round, but at the beginning of the first battle round before the first turn begins. So all rolls have happened.
It's kind of like they're basically 24 inches between deployment zones.
Mm-hmm.
You take away, you can go at 9, let's say, right?
Right.
So what is that? 15 inches now.
Mm-hmm.
Normal movement on most things is 6. You've got a 9-inch charge, just like everything else for that first turn.
Right.
So basically, that's what they're doing. They're making first turn 9-inch charges be a mandatory thing.
Why are they neutering assault armies?
I don't think that they are. I think assault armies are super powerful. If you
the right assault armies are.
Combat in this game is by far stronger than shooting if you can wield it and get into combat. It's just like you can tie up more things. You have more weight of force if you're going first on the charge. I think that if you can wield a strong combat army, I mean, you still need balance, right? You still need to be able to shoot, but I think that it is very powerful. It's just that a casual kind of environment, people aren't gaming it like that. People aren't probably running the same kind of combat lists or with the same expertise that pro players are and whatnot. But I think they can get a lot out of it. Yeah,
no, I think that, combat armies are still terrifying. I'm horrified of corn armies, done well. Mm-hmm. But other assault-oriented army, your orcs.
Yeah.
When they get into assault, it's just shenanigans.
I guess he tabled me by turn 3 with a shooting army.
Uh-huh. You should play better.
Yeah.
I had some assault elements in it. I'm not
true.
Just shooting.
No, that's true. But
Space Wolves.
Yeah. But that was a shooting army it was the shooting that completely neutered an assault army. But
my shooting army hasn't done it many times before, though.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
It's not It's not a hard counter.
No.
And don't get me wrong, I do think that all of this stuff that happens in here is more of a benefit to shooting armies. Like, there's nothing that's making combat easier in this by any means.
No, that's what my point was.
Yeah.
Right? Like, combat should be... It needs to be hyped up. I agree that first turn charges need to get rid of, and they need to be toned down, but there needs to be something to boost combat. But we'll see how that goes. But
Did you talk about any of the other stratagems that changed in there with it?
yeah, Styges 8, the Eldar one.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's pretty standard.
Yeah.
What else we got?
New beta match play rules. So this is new stuff for us to play with, which is kind of cool.
Oh, okay.
So there's 2 new rules that we can use. You want to pop that beer there? Yeah.
Mm.
This is a Creemore Springs Oktoberfest beer
Good color.
to celebrate Oktoberfest, which was last weekend, and I got way too drunk at it. But I got to use a trebuchet to launch a pumpkin and stuff.
That's pretty good.
And I shot a potato cannon. And I threw axes.
What a fruit being thrown through the air? Fruit and vegetables?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But why?
I don't know. Ate some deep fried sauerkraut.
Sure.
Sounds really good.
That doesn't sound good to me.
Really?
That sounds really good.
Nah. Sauerkraut belongs on hot dogs and only hot dogs.
Oh no, deep fried sauerkraut, man.
Right.
To October,
Yes. Oktoberfest.
whenever it comes around.
Yeah.
We shall see.
What? Bitter. I like it.
Yeah.
So we have a new stratagem.
Tell me about it.
So Prepared Positions is a brand new stratagem. It's available to the player who has the second turn in the game. Often taking the first turn gives a player a distinct advantage. Really, GW? Enabling them to target and shoot their opponent's units before they can react. I feel like we're stating the obvious here. This stratagem gives the player who has the second turn a chance to better weather that storm. Now, this is great for Paul and his Imperial Fists.
You're damn right it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that's like saying that when the Titanic sank, the lobsters were happy. Like,
New home.
this is nice.
So basically, whoever went second can choose to use this at the start of the turn. All enemy units, other than Titanic units, receive the benefit of cover. It's 2 command points.
That's a good use of 2 command points.
Yeah,
It's pretty hefty. It is pretty hefty.
I don't know. Think about like your Tau drones that now have everything has cover. Think about.
No, but I'm worried
tanks.
about going second against Tau, because everything they have is like -3, -4 AP. So having cover is just gonna
make it better.
Slightly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're
very slightly though.
yeah. Your
Well-
regular 3-ups are going to, which would be going to 6-ups are now 5-ups. Which
So
is,
they're
what is
twice
that?
as good.
Yeah,
No, it's a 16% increase.
No, it's twice as good
twice better
Yeah.
than the.
than the 1 in
the
6 chance. I know I know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
I think it's pretty useful. I think it's gonna because Space Wolves have their psychic power that gives them cover within a 6-inch bubble, right? That's a very powerful power, especially because I'm putting it on dreadnoughts and vehicles that don't normally get cover, and I'm getting 2-ups or 1-ups on my Leviathan.
True.
And so -2s are like a missile launcher is still giving me a 3-up.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It definitely beats poke in the eye.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to be like using a command point to try and reroll a save. This is a way better.
My only issue with it is that it's 2 command points.
Well, I don't think it would cost 1. 1 is way too cheap
I don't. 2 command points is super, super hefty.
for your whole army.
Yes, but for most armies, unless you're playing guard or guard,
Nah, man.
you're only messing with 8, 9, maybe 10 command points. That's a fifth of your command points right there, just for that stratagem.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like as a person who plays an elite army and has usually 7 to 9 or 10 command points. I might shell out 2. Probably not at 7, but probably at 10 I would.
Fair enough. I'm
Yeah.
interested to see how it changes when it gets enshrined as a real rule.
I mean, like I've said it so many times, the economy of command points is baffling to me.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Because you don't have enough to get an effective pricing. Like, one is a lot. Like, one is a very valuable thing. Mm-hmm. So to say something's 2 is very expensive, and then, like, 3 is unheard of.
How about 4?
Have you seen a 4?
I have now.
What's 4?
Agents Effect.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Yeah. No issues with that.
But, like, you have so few that it's baffling to me how they price stuff.
No, I agree. This is definitely worth more to some armies than it is to others. This is worth more to armies with more command points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they probably have more units that are going to enjoy that double save, right?
Anytime rules changes come out, it's what got good for the guard. Like, honestly, I hate saying it, I sound crazy, but guard must have the highest profit margin for a GW army, or they must be like a bestseller, because they never touch guard rules.
No, because you're right, because like this benefits high numbers of dudes, because if you're going from a 5 up to a 4 up,
it's
save.
better.
Even orcs going from a 6 up to a 5 up.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's twice as good.
Twice as good. Yeah. It's true. And then the other rule that I quite like, I don't feel like it went far enough in dealing with command point issues, but basically if you have an ability of any sort, warlord trait, relic, whatever, that gives you the chance to gain a command point back, you can only do it once a phase. Sorry.
Once a turn.
Once a turn.
Once a battle round.
Yeah, once a battle round. I mean, you're basically saying now you're guaranteed, unless you're rolling really badly, to regain a command point a turn.
You're getting 5 extra command points on average.
Yeah.
As opposed to 10.
Oh, even more.
Oh, even more.
Yeah.
Depending, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that feels a lot better, but again, it's giving things for free. It is abilities that you wouldn't normally have that you're getting for free.
Well, especially if it's a relic or a warlord trait, right? Because you're like, I'm taking this free upgrade, and oh no, if I want to take 2 relics, I'll just pay an extra command point, and now just suck up. Like, I've played against Kurov's Aquila with the Grandmaster Strategist thing, and it's frustrating to sit there and be like, I have no command points left, and this guy has 13.
Don't think I've played a guard army without it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what kind of sucks, right? I mean, I want a little bit of diversity. Make some choice.
Yeah. So yeah, one of the things, like, I really like the idea of kind of like siloing command points, and I don't think that went far enough. So, been working on our new comp for the new event.
Yeah. So do you want to describe the new comp just to like?
Yeah.
Or what was the old comp and maybe what's the new comp?
Yeah. So the old comp was basically the Battle Brothers rule that I described earlier was spread out across the entire army. Mm-hmm. So basically, none of your detachments, all your detachments had to be the same bunch of keywords, and some of the feedback we got was that's a little bit too restrictive. We're running an ITC event, so I think it makes sense to kind of like loosen the restrictions on it. Some people, Paul, doesn't view this as loosening restrictions, but basically what we've changed it to is you can only get command benefits, which means command points, and use stratagems for the faction keywords that your warlord is. So basically, if you have a knight household with your warlord, and you take a battalion of guardsmen, you're not getting any command points for that battalion of guardsmen, but you can still take the battalion of guardsmen.
Yeah.
So you really got to think about, hey,
but
it gives people the opportunity to run a fluffy list, because that was the biggest complaint.
That was my complaint.
It wasn't that, oh, I feel like my army's getting nerfed. It's like, hey, I got a cool list that I want to try and run, but I can't run it. So balancing off, we don't want to see lists like 12. How many was it? Like 5 shield captains on Dawn Eagle jet bikes and knights and guardsmen and all that. Yeah. So you can do that, but your command abilities are going to be very, very limited.
Yeah. I think it's great. Paul's case withstanding, because I agree with you.
Yeah, I just feel like if you're doing a mono book, like not being able to mix factions for me, just like is kind of like, oh, I like doing that. That was fun.
And so, what's the example? And what would you lose?
I don't understand because we're giving mixed factions.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about what was proposed before we hammered at it.
Oh yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. But I like. Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about this. I mean, when you're talking comp, and like we're all agreeing that you do need to comp things for tournaments, it's like talking about, at the risk of getting political, it's like talking about border control. No one's saying no borders. You're just talking about how tight you want them.
I think a world without borders would be better.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
I mean, sure.
Not now, but eventually. Yes.
Yeah. No, not now. Like I'm with you, and I'll edit in a bong hit sound.
But what if we took down all the fences, man?
How would you trade stuff? You wouldn't have to trade. You just give to your buddies. Or if you didn't like some people, oh shit.
No, I think it's great because allies in themselves should be A, fluffy, or B, they're filling a niche in your army. If you're running it competitively, they're filling a niche in your army that isn't filled by the rest of your army, right? You can only build, like, Knights are only have so many tools in their toolbox, Space Marines only have so many, Drukhari, Eldari, etc., right?
Right.
So, but inherently by bringing an ally, you're filling in a gap, which should be the benefit in itself. It shouldn't be all of the extras that they get to bring.
Yeah. I don't understand, and this is, again, lunar narrative dissonance and trying to line up the comp with, like, fluff, because we try to do that. But to me, like, it doesn't make sense that having the might of the Imperial Guard's logistics system allows a knight to up his ion shield over and over and over again.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
I'm excited. I've got a great Chaos Warband that I want to put together, that I want to run with this new comp, and it's not going to get a lot of command points, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
And it's a test. It's going to change for the Hogtowner. The Hogtowner I'd like to see go back maybe a little bit towards the more narrative way, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how this kind of fleshes
Yeah,
out.
like I'm more excited to see how a new thing works.
Yeah.
And there's been good feedback already. A lot of people have said they want command points to be siloed, and this is the next option would be to silo command points, but then that's super complicated because now you're keeping track of multiple factions' command points within your own army.
It's not that complicated.
No, I've got 3 different colored D20s.
Yeah,
There you go.
some people can't remember their own stratagems.
Yeah, all right, fair.
Let's not get better.
It was actually interesting. I was listening to a Tabletop Tactics chat a little while ago, and one of the guys on there brought up the exact same comp. So I think that this is something that's getting bandied around as a very good solution. Yeah. I think it's, people are tired of the same things that we're getting tired of, and we're trying to kind of get rid of in our club.
Well, it's not even we're tired of seeing it. It's just like we want to encourage people to bring. We want to encourage people to bring lists that other people want to see.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. It's not about, like, I don't want to tell anyone how to have fun.
I do.
Okay. But the Independent Characters just did a podcast on, like, the pillars of the hobby and what's important. But, like, we have to have some sort of agreement, because if I'm not having fun playing a game, why am I spending time playing that game? And I think everyone's got to come to the same table with that mindset. And when I face an army, I want to face an army that I want to face. Now, you can take that to the extreme and be like, I want to face an army that I can beat, and I know I can beat. But I want to face an army that's going to give me a challenge and that I'm going to enjoy playing.
Yeah.
And I hope that this comp will do that. I have more faith in the community self-policing itself, but it's always been when people from the outside of the community have come in and dipped their toes in the Hogtown cult pool for the first time. That's where the issues stem from. So I think having a solid comp being like, this is what we're playing at, come join us in the pool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that, and those people who are coming in aren't doing it like maliciously.
No,
They're just used to a different,
exactly.
a different kind of style, right?
Yeah, because if you're coming into the Lawrence store, you're like a dog of its chain. Like, those kids are nuts.
Yeah.
Those kids just sit down with plastic kits and eat them. Clip out stuff from the sprue and just eat bits and shit out models. They're nuts.
But it's good because I mean, it's working. So, like I said, the independent characters did that podcast, and good old Bob Beeson. I saw him comment on the post, and he was like, he should have tagged us in the post, but he was talking directly to Carl and Adon, and was like, I found a club like this in Toronto. They're called Hogtown, and I wish I was closer because I play with those guys all the time.
They know
like, this is a guy who came and played 6 games with us at an event, and he already gets the culture. So it's awesome.
He was a ton of fun, actually.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
He was bummed he didn't get to come drinking with us next year.
Yeah, how come he didn't come?
I don't know, because Let's Go to the Red Room was kind of organized last minute.
Sure.
It was very last
But because we were all busy
organizing, trying to get a different bird in the sky?
Yeah. It's totally fine. No one cares. But next year we'll have a drinking competition. Play Beer Hammer.
I like Beer Hammer.
So yeah, and then there's been a couple interim balance reviews that have come up, which again are kind of interesting. These are all changing command points, and one which is the warp surge ability for demons. They say it's too effective, enabling a potential invulnerable save of 2+. As a result, we've made it improve the invulnerable save to a maximum of 4+.
That's rough.
Yeah, and I don't get it because there's so many there's units out there that have a 3-up invulnerable save, super easy. Upon Wings of Fire, I believe that's the one that allows you to get removed from play and then deep strike again.
It's a redeploy for a jump pack unit.
So that got up to 2 command points. That never should have been 1 command point. No. Oh my god, that's ridiculous. The Oathbreaker guidance system on Imperial Knights is now 3 command points. Good.
Yeah.
That was the missile that could hunt out a character.
Yeah, because it was just like, I'm going to nuke your character.
Yeah. Order of Companions for Knights, I don't know what that is.
That's reroll all ones. Hits, wounds, damage rolls of 1.
Oh.
Literally all ones.
So that's up to 3 CP.
It should be, because
it's like a Gilliman plus damage rerolls.
Yeah, and it should be more because re-rolling any one of those is 1 command point.
You got to think about what's that going on? It's not going on.
Castling.
Yeah, it's a Castling or a Knight. And then the next one is our Darkest Hour. Have you guys ever had our Darkest Hour used against you?
Nope.
No.
It's where you kill an enemy knight, and he pops 2 command points, and immediately gets to shoot with all his weapons again before it goes down.
And usually they put the extra command point on if they're, House Raven, or who's the one that can bring it up to full strength?
Oh, it does it automatically.
I thought it just brought it back up, and then...
It was really good. It was basically, you killed a knight, and it gets a full round of shooting before it goes down.
Great.
I mean, is an awesome ability from a narrative standpoint, but it sucks to get used against you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really bad. And Agents of X is now 4 command points.
Yeah. And, even more key, I think, it requires the Cabal of Blackheart units to be on the battlefield. So, I mean, I don't think anybody in our meta is playing it where they're just bringing an auxiliary with just one set of not a body did, but or whatever. But it's still an interesting way to remove. It's kind of like going towards our comp, right? It's like remove something from the battlefield, you can't use it anymore.
Yeah, I feel like that's just the way it should be.
Yeah. And also,
though I think you should be able to use psychic powers if you're in a transport. You don't forget how to do stuff just because
there's windows in the Rhino, right?
Yeah.
Also, your aura ability should affect guys in transports with you.
Yes.
I think that's
it shouldn't go outside the transport.
Yeah.
But everybody inside's having a really good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all fortunate or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah. That's the main one. There's a couple other things I want to talk about, but why don't we take you want to take a quick break, or you want to go right into this?
I mean, well, let's just keep it rolling, baby.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Oh, what are you doing?
Last beer.
Oh, more beer, everybody.
There we go.
What you got?
Well, Adam was supposed to come tonight. And it's his birthday today.
Oh, so it's a Woodhouse Stout beer. I've never actually had Woodhouse's Stout before, but I like all of their other stuff. Apparently at Woodhouse, they believe in simplicity, and that being a good thing. That's why they brew their craft. Oh, yeah, no, it's just a regular beer copy. I'm not reading it.
Is that from Collingwood?
Yeah.
I think it's from Collingwood.
Isn't it?
Collingwood.
No, Toronto.
Oh, Toronto.
Idiot.
Ugh, so close.
Jeez, get right.
So close.
When do you guys want to do the West End beer tour round 2?
January.
Literally any time.
Hey, honey. Oh, there's a cat touching me. Oh, no, I love her.
Got golden eyes on that cat.
Oh, man, I'm a sucker for, like, good eyes on a cat. Like, I had a cat and had just, like, beautiful green eyes. Now the cat I have has, like, dumb green eyes.
No, that's too bad.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to hear about that.
that's okay. I poured this in my own glass first.
It's okay.
Like a gentleman.
No, I'm greedy. Gimme. Oh, no, Hershey, you should be named Stout.
Oh!
Right?
Great name for a cat.
Yeah, you see why... bullshit names.
You're not allowed up on the table, though.
Okay.
I don't know what you're trying to do.
Let's just hang out.
I think he's trying to lie on my lap, but I'm too close to the table.
Come here, then. Oh, no, my heart.
Paul's soft heart.
Oh, he's purring.
Oh, no. Oh. Come here, baby. Oh, come here, little baby. Oh. Oh. Alright, I gotta cut. Oh, no, actually, I'm not.
Just put that in the beginning or the end.
I'm leaving it all in right where it is. You guys that made it like an hour into the podcast and get to hear me freak out over a cat. Oh, look at his face. Oh, he's so pretty. Oh, you're such a handsome boy. Who's a pretty prince?
He squeals. He doesn't meow. He's like, me. And you're like, what is happening?
Because he's only little. He hasn't found his voice yet. Alright, anyways, what were you talking about?
Yeah, where were
That's
we?
a good, solid stout.
It's a nice stout.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. So there were some erratas in the big rule book. The biggest one, that again, I really don't like, and I don't know why they chose this, but the fly keyword only affects you during the movement phase.
Ludonarrative dissonance.
Again,
Yep.
yeah. Your jetpacks just turn off.
I get it. All you had to say is you had to measure vertically.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little disappointed with this. Like, I've got obviously a bunch of jump pack like characters in the Space Wolf Army. Love to just jump those in, maybe heroically intervene them in over top of some things.
Yeah.
Get a little bit closer, lock some people into combat.
Awesome.
Can't do that anymore.
No, and like, why?
Yeah, I think that people were misusing it as maybe some jet bikes were going through terrain, or we're basically allowed to use terrain in better ways now. You have to go around it.
It was the vertical charge distance.
That can't be just it. That can't be just it.
But it was
because
being
otherwise,
able to do 0-inch charges.
But I mean, obviously, that's a big reason for it, and I completely agree. I've played games where it's happened, but that can't just be it. That has to be the whole jumping over. Like, they're making screens more relevant.
Yeah.
They're making spacing a little bit less relevant because you don't care about like blocking out certain things anymore.
It's just it is only in the charge phase that you have to worry about it. Like, you're still moving over those.
How about psychic phase? How about warp time?
What does it say in the?
What do you mean? What's the question?
It's only so. What does the rule say?
Oh, no. So you treat warp time as a second movement phase. Just like you treat when you...
What does the rule say?
It says during the movement phase it can fly.
Okay, it's a psychic phase when you warp time. You're doing a move as if it were the movement phase.
True. So that means if you have anything that happens outside of a phase in which it's supposed to happen, it can't get any of its buffs or abilities. Which isn't true.
No, I would read that because if you're doing it as if it were the movement phase, and so it's the movement phase.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I'm
Yeah.
just saying it's like
That's my point.
yeah.
Because otherwise you're like, oh, I get to shoot in the psychic phase because there are powers that are like that, but I don't get to use the captain's buff or any of the other things that are happening there.
Oh, little buddy.
But yeah, that's a strange one.
I don't know. I'm a little disappointed with that. I haven't played a lot of armies. I mean, except besides the 0-inch charge thing, which I completely agree with. I thought the rest of it was fine. It makes sense. You're flying. Like
Yeah.
it's cool to see a jump pack character crashing down like over top of a screen into
No,
the
he just jumps in and then just runs.
runs across the ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes his jump pack off.
Well, leaves it on. It's just huge and burly now.
So another interesting point that comes up is that every time a unit attacks, it attacks with all of its ranged weapon.
Yeah.
So you can't be like, I have a land raider, I'm only going to fire the assault cannons.
Well,
That's such a weird rule.
sorry. Can you read that again?
Unless otherwise noted, each model in the unit attacks with all of the ranged weapons it is armed with. Unless it's armed with a weapon that can only be used once per battle.
I think that's the part that they're kind of focusing on.
Okay,
No,
yeah.
this is the first time I made this clear.
No,
But it's the second part that because there was people who were saying, "Oh, you fired at me with your hunter killers or your Tau thing with all of the like one-use missiles. You got to fire them all right now."
yeah.
Yeah,
That's...
I still think it's weird that you have to shoot all of your weapons.
That is kind of strange.
Yeah, but it's... I think because the second part is a new part.
Yes.
And that's what...
I think the second part's the new part.
Yeah, that's what people were getting their, like...
I think the first part clarifies it, though.
But the
Perhaps.
first point was always in the rules.
Yeah.
That's...
I think that was the whole thing. That was the thing that people were basically saying. You must shoot with your hunter killers and your
so
Tau
if you,
one-use missiles all at once because you must.
if you fired them.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you fire that heavy bolter, or your storm bolter.
I mean, it's I would hope I wouldn't play against anybody who says that, but yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Some people are bad. But yeah, it's nice that they have that in what is now fuchsia and white.
Yes. Yeah. And they just
Not
make it
pink.
clear that when you're splitting attacks, like if you have one unit shooting at 2 units, you have to declare how those units are going to fire, and then resolve them one at a time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you don't get to rotate ion shields before you know what weapons are coming at you.
Right.
What?
You have to, when I declare, I'm saying I'm firing 2 las cannons at you and I'm firing bolters at him, versus I'm firing at you and I'm firing at him.
Oh, right.
Do you want to rotate your ion shields?
Yes.
And then if you do, I'm going to fire my las cannons over here.
Yep. That's fair. Knights didn't need that power. There's a cool thing in here where a knight with a Thunderstrike gauntlet will immediately kill any fortification it touches.
Really?
Yeah, so...
Should.
It's pretty cool.
But the death grip stratagem
Oh, yeah,
is strength versus strength. So the knight can never lose to a fortification.
What's the fortification? Well, don't they...
They have dash strength.
Did you
And
read,
dash toughness.
Did you read the thing in there now?
Yeah. No, this was in the actual the FAQ.
I like the idea of him just like crushing a building though,
Yeah, I think that's great.
because it's not fighting him back.
No, but it's
It
resisting.
does have tensile strength, and
It's got, I don't know, transparent aluminum or whatever it is.
Yeah? Transparent aluminum.
get out of here.
That's hilarious. What else we got going on here? Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. I mean, the game's changing. I like the changes because it keeps things fresh, and we're not going to spend an entire edition with one unit on top, one faction on top.
Yeah, I do like every time one of these FAQs or chapter approved or something comes out, like I do worry that we're just getting up to our eyeballs in documents again.
Yes.
And I just wish that when they did chapter approved, they would also do a new volume or a new edition of the rulebook.
They might this year. I mean, maybe every 2 years. You can't be buying a new chapter approved and a BRB every year.
Right.
That'd be insane.
So I'm just saying, like, just put it all in.
Put it all into one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the General's Handbook for Sigmar.
Exactly.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, I mean, then they would be making more money because they're not charging a chapter approved amount for that. They're charging a little bit more.
Well, I mean, chapter approved makes me angry.
Yeah, that should be free.
So, hold on. So, what do you think? Like, first off, are you happy with the things that have happened in the Big FAQ?
I don't think it detracts from the games at all. I just don't think it goes far enough. And I think there was a real missed opportunity with match play and narrative play. I feel like narrative play is not what it should be, and match play is like the only real option. Whereas there should be two ends to matched play.
I really think that they are depending on the player base to treat match play as a superstructure that they can just kind of drop stuff over.
Yes, very much so.
Like, that's the way it's been since 3rd edition, and that's the way it will always be.
But there's absolutely no mention of narrative play at all in any of this.
Or won't be.
Why do you need to rebalance narrative play?
It's not about rebalancing. It's about adding new elements to it.
So I think
chapter approved.
Yeah, I think chapter approved does that well.
So what about the content that's in this one? Was there anything that you would like? They basically said that point changes would be reserved for chapter approved. Are you happy with the stuff that's in here, or would you have wanted more or less? Like, I mean,
it's an FAQ. I mean,
yeah, it depends on what people are frequently asking.
Yeah.
They're asking can you heroically intervene in your own turn?
Yeah.
Can I heroically intervene if you don't declare a charge?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
that's cool. I'm going to use that. I'm definitely going to use that rule.
Heroically intervening when you...
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, why would anybody stop within a couple inches of you anyways? Why?
Well, no, because it's your turn.
My turn. Yep.
You charge me.
Yep.
I'm just out of heroically intervening.
Mm-hmm.
And then in your turn, you pile in. And now it's my turn. And maybe I don't want to charge in because you can attack me. So now we go back to your turn. And in your charge phase, you don't charge. I can now heroically intervene with a model that you can now not assault. And he gets to charge in there and wreck face.
Interesting.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, I'm not against that. I mean, characters in combat can use a little bump.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Good thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Like, chapter approved is fine. The points adjustments just aren't enough. I feel like if you're trying to rebalance a unit, if you're trying to rebalance something, you should just overhaul its entire data sheet.
They might.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what are they going to do for chapter approved? They're going to do Sisters of Battle beta codex, right, or some like general stuff for that. They'll probably rebalance a bunch of stuff. I'm sure I don't know.
I hope that they just dump some more stratagems in there for everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
more
things
universal
to play
stratagems are kind of cool.
Yeah.
They did that last time, right? I mean, people had indexes, but yeah.
Maybe you'll get some more stratagems.
I haven't used all my current stratagems.
I just want my Orc Codex.
Yeah.
You got your jet engine thing. You saw that.
See if it's any good.
You got your boom deck of Snaz wagon?
Yeah.
God bless you.
It'll be interesting to see how those things do.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be a lot cooler looking than they are.
They have 40k
Useful,
rules, right?
No.
Oh, good.
They will.
Yeah.
But they don't now.
But they're planning on it?
I think so.
Okay.
I hope they're not just for Gork and Morka. Oh my god,
That'd
they'd
be
be so pissed off.
No, well, they wouldn't do that. Do you want to take a quick little break and then come back and do fun time?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Battle Brothers Studios is a commission painting studio in Toronto, Canada. We want you to walk into the battlefield looking your best. So, if you're having trouble getting all your minis painted, or are in a big rush to get some stuff done for that next event, then let us know. Facebook.com/Battle Brothers Studios for a free quote, and inquire also about our 2018 deals. This year, running a 10% discount on any new release item from any miniature company. That's pretty cool, so send us a message. Hello everybody, this is Adam.
And I'm Jay.
And we are in Counter Wargaming.
And we wanted to celebrate hitting our 1,500 subscribers and give back to all of you who helped us get here.
Super exciting. So we call this the 2,500 subscriber Forgebane giveaway.
That's right, because we're giving away a Forgebane box. Woohoo! But in order to give it away, we have to hit our 2,500 subscriber goal.
Makes sense. All right, so first things first. Share this.
Share the podcast with your friends.
Share our videos.
Yeah.
Share anything you want. So there you go. Multiple ways to enter.
Right.
Number 1.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Woohoo! That'll get you 1 entry. Number 2, follow on Twitch for 1 more entry.
Also, you can support us on our Patreon campaign, and that'll get you 5 entries.
Wow. All right. And hey,
Crazy.
guess what? If you subscribe on Twitch, you get 5 more entries.
Damn. And lastly, for all of you who are listening to the podcast right now, go on and leave us a review, and we'll get you 1 more entry.
Bonus. Guys, this is a big thank you for all the support that you have given us over the last couple years.
Absolutely. Thanks to everyone out there for making this a wild ride for us. Hopefully we can give one of these boxes to one of you lucky people.
Sweet. Hey, remember to share, and we will see you at our next encounter.
Welcome to Spooky Time.
Spooky.
For Ghoultober, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Spooktober.
Spooktober?
Yeah.
So starting at 1.
Go to hell. Nick! Scare the wits out of me.
Diabolos and Reznikov were stonemasons who worked on the University College building during its construction in the late 1850s.
Where? In Toronto?
In Toronto. The U of T building. Ivan Reznikov was a huge man with fingers and thumbs bigger than his carver's mallet and a violent temper. Paul Diablos was a sculptor from Corinth, pale, young, handsome, and with a subtle nature.
Paul Diablos? Shit.
Yeah, I know. Here I am walking around with Paul Fowler like a chump.
Their opposite temperaments.
The entire description fits.
Their opposite temperaments were reflected in their work. Diabolos was credited with much of the best carved work in the East Wing of University College, destroyed in the fire of 1890.
My work!
He was also said to have used Reznikov's hideous face, more like a baboon than a man, as a model for one of the 2 gargoyles by the chimney between Croft Chapter House and the small cloister.
That's some shade, man.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, around the corner, Reznikov toiled and drank deeply from a flask he kept hidden in his shirt.
Okay, first off, you can't drink deeply from a flask. All right, a flask is just a little
This is
dabble
like an
deep.
1850s flask.
Yeah, it still is to have the same amount of bottom. Like, what do you?
I don't know. I'm thinking like a giant wineskin.
Well,
Hid in his shirt?
Yeah. He's a big guy.
a wineskin and a flask are 2 different things.
He is said to have sculpted a gargoyle in the chimney that showed all of the earmarks of a drunkard's touch.
Wait. Wait. You can't say that. No. You can't say, holy shit, look at that gargoyle. I bet a drunk guy carved it. Because it's got all the earmarks thereof.
Well, you might see imperfections in the work or the carving technique.
Yeah, but you'd just be like, this guy is bad. You wouldn't be like, that's a drunk. Or, drunks have a very particular artistic sense.
But the 2 were in love with the same woman.
Oh, no.
Reznikov had promised to marry her, and they had saved together for this, but Diabolos persuaded her to run away with him,
Yeah, he did.
taking Reznikov's savings with them.
Yeah, boy.
But before they could leave, they were found out, and on the empty work site, Diabolos and Reznikov confronted one another.
I feel like it was not Diabolos confronting anybody. Like, you don't get to confront someone if you've got his wife and his money.
No, and the other guy has, like, mallet hands.
Yeah, what's that confrontation look like? Like, yo, dude, I'm taking your money. I got your squeeze. What are you gonna do about it? Friggin' thick neck.
In the confines of the small cloister at the southwest corner of the building,
It's not gonna end well for my
with
guy.
a workman's axe, Reznikov attacked Diabolos, who carried a dagger. They fought and wrestled until the giant Reznikov backed his enemy against the door and struck with his axe. But Diabolos had clutched the iron handle of the door, and as the blow descended, the door swung inwards. Both fell headlong onto the floor, and the axe cut deep into the oak door, which can still be seen to this day.
Yeah, my guy.
So Diabolos fled through the unfinished interior of the building, pursued by Reznikov, along the corridor, into the entrance hall, and up one of the double flights of stone steps to the second floor. There he listened as his enemy climbed slowly towards him. He could not escape down the opposite flight of stairs, as it was blocked with mason tools, boards, and broken stone. He stood for several seconds, thinking that his time has come, but turned and ran up the wooden stairs to the third floor, where he hid in the angle of a tower. When Reznikov came into view, he pounced on him and stabbed him over and over again with his dagger.
Yeah, that's how my boy do.
There was a sudden thud, a groan, and Ivan Reznikov fell dead on the floor. To conceal the body, Diabolos threw it down the stairwell, over which the circular staircase leading to the roof of the tower was built. What became of Diabolos and this woman, we do not know. But Reznikov has haunted the University of Toronto buildings for many years. And it was only since his bones were found after the fire of 1890 that people think he got some peace. However, while they may have found his bones, they never found his head.
What?
And his body is said to be buried under a maple tree at the northeast corner of the University College quadrangle. And that a skull, discovered much later, may belong to him.
I mean, what were the odds?
However, even today people report that late at night in the college, there are creaking and banging noises that cannot be explained.
Let this be a lesson to all y'all out there. If Paul steals your girl, just leave her stole. Otherwise, I will body you up.
I think I'm going to start carrying around a dagger.
Yeah, it's pretty useful for murdering people.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize that happened there.
There's a lot of good Toronto ghost stories.
Yeah. Also, how the heck? Raccoons.
It's raccoons.
It's definitely raccoons.
Yeah.
They stole the head? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Raccoons definitely stole the head.
Yeah.
And they're making the noise.
Oh, and also making the noise, or just residences.
Yeah, it's everything that's
Toronto.
a ghost story is raccoons in Toronto.
I've got a couple good ones. There's another one about haunted stuff in High Park. That's really creepy.
All right. What's capybaras? Where capybaras?
Yeah, where bears.
Where capybaras?
Oh, those things are ridiculous looking.
I love them. They got shoebox heads.
Yeah, they look like a mix between a pig and a rabbit.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, love them.
World's biggest rodent.
I love that zoo.
All right, I'm going home.
Goodbye.